Okay, that was an Oscars. It was definitely an Oscars. They started, they had awards, and then they ended, and that was the process. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was not even close to the worst Oscars ever. Actually, if I'm being honest, it might have been the best show I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of Oscars in my life. I think I've watched them basically every single year. That was a amazing Oscars. Like it, there was the intensity. There were some big upsets, but they weren't too big and too extreme, except for maybe one. There was some good, healthy debate about whether or not the Academy actually watches the movies. Then there was some really some good beef, and then it was over. Now, with that being said, we're going to talk about the negative stuff quickly, and then we'll talk about all the good stuff. Negatives. Oh Lord, the host is still god awful. Doesn't matter. Everyone who presented was a presenter did better than the host did. Um, the only, I guess, relatively decent joke that was made by the host of the Oscars throughout the entire thing was the Trump tweet at the end, or Trump thing at the end. But even though apparently it wasn't even a joke, it was actually like a real thing. So I guess the closest thing to him being funny all night was being bailed out by Trump. So that was rough. And then the in memoriam, and I don't understand why. And it used to be better where these you basically had the situation where um, you would just focus on the people who were being shown, and it wasn't this whole theatrical thing where you were looking at the stage and you weren't looking at the people who were being memorialized. I don't understand why we went away from that toward whatever this weird performance was, and I don't think this was good, and we should go back to the other thing. But other than that, I mean, it was great. We will go through the awards, but to start off, we do have to kind of talk about the actual Oscars, right? And some of the stuff that happened. I guess we'll talk about that with the awards to some extent. So there's a little bit of a. I think this is probably one of the best moments in an award show I've seen, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And I'm just gonna see if I can get this up on the screen so that people on YouTube can see this, because I think it is very insightful and I think it really shows. We're just gonna see how fast I can do this while I'm talking about the awards. But when Best Animated Feature was announced, of course, I was wrong. I don't like being wrong, and so it's unfortunate for me. But hello. Oh, there we go. Thank you. There we go. Look at that. Okay, cool. So when Best Animated Feature was announced, it turned out it was not Spider-Man. As, by the way, I kind of predicted. I would like to point that out. Even though I technically predicted Spider-Verse, if you go and you listen, actually, if you listen to the podcast version, which is a different version than the video version, but if you listen to that first thing I recorded, which is the podcast predictions, I do literally say, I know for a fact that the Spider-Verse is going to lose to The Boy and the Heron, but I'm still picking Spider Verse because I'm biased. I was straight up about that. Like I say that. I was right technically. I just didn't want to be right. I wanted to be wrong. So Spider Verse lost. I was angry, I'll be honest with you. Because I'm biased. And then the guy who voices Miles came out on Twitter. He wrote robbed, and then he corrected himself and spelt it correctly. And then he said, "Respect to the winners, it's true. I'm definitely a sore loser, but we didn't lose. Spider-Verse has impacted a lot of lives. We may not have been acknowledged tonight, but life goes on and beyond. Yeah, get ready." And then the face blowing out the smoke, like the defiant face. I don't even know what the emoji's called. And then people start attacking him. And I don't understand this. But it gets better, okay? So then someone tweets out, "This is how you respond to losing," which is basically the they the directors of Spider Verse basically saying, and I'll read it out right now. Read it out to you right now. Oopsies, that's not the right one. where they're basically like, acknowledging. So it says Christopher Miller reacts to Across the Spider-Verse losing to the Oscar for Best Animated Film to The Boy and the Heron. Well, if you're gonna, and he says, "quote Well, if you're gonna lose, you might as well lose to the goat." And someone says, "Look, this is how you're supposed to react to losing." And then he responds, and he's like, "You're right. The whole Spider-Verse team are such good sports. Very professional. I'm excited to see what comes of this. I'm young and a fighter, so forgive my nature. Congrats to the winners." And then people start attacking because he said he's young and he's turning 30, and I didn't understand what that was about. Again, I like this rivalry thing. I do like the bitterness. I think the way you give these, like, the problem with these awards has always been there was never this bitterness about them, right? Everyone's just like, good job, and then it never felt like there was anything at stake, right? I feel like this year, for the first time in a long time, it felt like there's stuff at stake. Why? Because these people, they were bitter, and I like when you're bitter. You should be bitter when you lose. If you believe you should have won, and I think everyone who worked on Spider-Verse believes they should have won. Yeah, you can acknowledge the fact that you didn't win, and you can congratulate people who did win. But you should be bitter that you lost. I don't think there's a problem with that. Like, good. That's the kind of energy which makes the Oscars exciting, is people actually getting angry that they lost the award and says, whatever, right? Because if the people who are winning them, if there is this level of meaning where you do get angry and you do feel offended if you don't win, then the people who are watching the show also care, right? Suddenly, I'm sitting there on my couch and I'm like, yeah, I'm angry too now. Spider-Verse should have won. This isn't fair, right? Rather than saying, well, it is what it is. That's how the Oscars are supposed to work, right? If you want people to care about the awards, the people who work on the movies and who are connected to these movies have to feel angry about it. You don't have to be disrespectful, but you can kind of be annoyed that you didn't win. I don't understand what's wrong with that. I think you should think your movie got robbed. If you don't win, you should think you got robbed. Lily Gladstone should think she got robbed. The Lily Gladstone fans should think that she got robbed. Because Emma Stone won. That's okay. Right? I'm okay with, like, I think that kind of, like, and I honestly, like, even as much as and we'll talk about Oppenheimer in a minute, but as much as I'm angry that it didn't win sound, it's the only award I'm angry it didn't win. You know what? Like, I think it's good because it gives you something to talk about. These awards are talked about, and they're not talked about in dumb ways, right? And we saw in the past, with the Anthony Hopkins thing, it was just this dumb conversation, right? Or even worse, the Will Smith conversation, right? Like, these are just the dumb conversations that we have about the Oscars. And I was really worried, if I'm being honest, going into it, we were going to have another dumb conversation because I thought Holdovers was going to win Best Original Screenplay, even though I didn't predict it to. I thought it was going to win, and I thought the entire... Because if it did win, and, everything was kind of just whatever, par for the course, Oppenheimer sweep, I feel like the narrative that would have come out would have been this dumb narrative of a Holdover should have won. Right? Or, like, there's going to be, like, some... because I think the dumb narratives are like the Oscars so white. Like, it obviously it's a true narrative, but it's also like it's not the thing you want to talk about with these awards. Is they're being racist, right? Like, you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about, I think for these number of reasons, this movie should have won over this movie for this award, rather than, damn, that Academy out here being racist, or damn, they plagiarized that script and won Best Original Script. Or you know what I mean. Like, I those are the dumb conversations coming out of the, or, oh my god, again, the kind of the Oscar so white type thing when Anthony Hopkins beat out Chadwick Boseman, right? And that was that dumb conversation. Or, oh, you remember when that guy got slapped, right? Like, these are the dumb conversations. So I'm glad we didn't have any of those dumb conversations. We did have some. We do get to have some of these intelligent conversations, because I think there's nothing wrong with having them. And so, yeah, again, just to kind of go back to the tweets, like, yeah, be angry. I think more people should be angry. More people should actively be angry that they aren't winning these awards, because that's how you make people want to tune in and see who wins, right? You got to invest them, and not everyone's going to watch every single movie. But you know what? If actors going out here saying, I'm angry, or directors going out saying, I'm angry I didn't win, guess what? People are going to tune in. That, like, you make the real life drama around it so that people tune in. but not in the dumb way like Oscar So White or people getting slapped on stage, but in a smart way of like, look, these people care about this award, therefore we should care about it too. So, look, I said I was going to get 100% correct. I was not. I was close-ish, not really. I ended up being 68%. 15 correct, 7 incorrect of the 22 categories. It could have been worse. I was really hoping to get mid-70s if I'm being honest. I mean, I know I was saying I was going to be 100% correct, but I was kind of hoping for the mid-70s, but whatever. We can kind of just pretend I got to 70 even though it's 68. But let's go through this award by award. So the best live action short, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I mean, Wes Anderson finally got his Oscar, so that's good. He wasn't even there to collect it, which was hilarious. I don't care what documentary, animated short, whatever. International Film Zone of Interest, we knew was going to win. Documentary, 20s in the Marypool. That was actually a decent speech. Best animated feature we talked about. I think Spider-Verse should have won, but whatever. Best VFX. Again, this was one of those ones where I think, there would have been a very dumb conversation, potentially a very dumb conversation if Godzilla Minus One didn't win, so I'm glad it won. The biggest one for me, I think, was probably the sound. I was so confident, and if you go back and you watch my video, and this is probably the biggest L I took all night, was the sound one. Even in my video, right, like I had the option to put multiple, and I just put Oppenheimer and I moved on. And I just said the only one I'm putting in this is Oppenheimer, not putting any kind of, stock into anything else. I didn't think there was any chance it was going to lose this, and then it did lose it. I understand why, but I also don't agree with it. And that's just going to be how it is. I think what they did with the sound, and I know apparently, I was told after I was complaining about how Oppenheimer didn't win Best Sound, that I was initially after Oppenheimer saying that the sound wasn't very good in it. I was clearly just bitter about something. So, yeah, I definitely think that, Oppenheimer deserved to win this award. I understand. I can't be mad for it not winning, but again, I would have loved to see it win. I think it should have won. I don't really have anything else to say about that one. That was my biggest L of the night. Like everything else, I was like right in the range. I kind of had some of them, like the logic was right, but like the actual, result was wrong. But whatever, it is what it is. Now moving on to the next one. Best song, What Was I Made For? Oh, let's talk about the performances actually. Let's do this one real quick. So, and then we'll talk about Billie Eilish, I guess, as well. But the performance of there's some blasphemous stuff coming out after the performances where it's like, Ryan Gosling's I Am Ken performance is the best performance we've ever had. The Queen performed at the Oscars. Let's stop doing the stupid stuff, please, for the love of God. Like, Queen performed at the Oscars. I know it was like years ago at this point, but like still. Just calm the hell down, okay? Just calm the hell down. Ryan Gosling was great. Queen is all-time great, so there's like levels to this. But yeah, it was a good performance. All the performances were good. I like the way the Oscars flowed this year too. Like the performances felt like they weren't like all like last year. It felt like they kind of tried to shove them all together. So I did, and maybe it wasn't actually the case, but it did feel like that. I did like this. I also like the way they introduced the actors, and we'll talk about that one in a minute. But I did really like the way that they flowed the ceremony. It felt like the beginning was kind of like speeding up, and then it just went boom, and like 10:30 and you're done. So it was glorious. I think I would be shocked if this wasn't the highest rated Oscars in a long time. I don't know what the numbers are. There's no initial numbers at this point that I can see, but I would be shocked. Yeah, the I'm Ken performance is great. I don't think this is any justification for the fact that he should have won it for best song. I don't think this is any justification that Ryan Gosling should have won. It was a good performance, and it should not. The ripoff of the Frozen 2 song "Lost in the Woods" should not have won best original song, and the guy who as much as you want to argue whatever you want about Robert Downey Jr., was without a doubt not better than Mark Ruffalo. You cannot make the argument that he deserved to win Best Actor because he had a good performance on stage, at the Oscars, not in the movie and on the Oscars. Also, we got to just address the Madame Web stuff. I mean, everyone kept taking shots at Madame Web. It wasn't very fun. But I mean, that's actually it. There was nothing else to it. Just everyone took shots at Madame Web. It wasn't very fun. I didn't find it funny. I think everyone's kind of over the Madame Web. Like, let's just let it die now, please. Yeah. And then I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. But oh yeah, let's talk about Billie Eilish. So I have to give Billie Eilish a little bit of credit here. Not a huge fan, of her work. Generally speaking, I'm not some massive fan. However, there's two things which we need to note here. First of all, Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell are the youngest and second youngest people to ever win 2 Oscars in any category. Phineas at 26 and Billie at 22, because they just won their Oscar for No Time to Die in 2022. That's incredible. You've gotta, again, I just can't, that's incredible. Billie Eilish just won 2 Oscars at 22 years old. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That, as much as, again, I don't love the music she makes, generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan. She really, really cooked. She's really cooking something here. The fact that she might end up just being a perennial nominee in best song for the next 10 years, 15 years is kind of crazy. Because you could legitimately, think about it, 2022, No Time to Die, right? Every other year, if she ends up being a perennial nominee, that's just going to be wild. That's just crazy. She could end up with a ton of Oscars. That's just, it's incredible. I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan, but I gotta admit that's kind of cool. The other thing is she's on track for an EGOT, kinda. She's got 2 Oscars. She's got 7 Grammys. She's got to get that Tony and the Emmy, and she's there. And she can do it in the next few years. I'm just saying, I don't know. She's got to make a song for a musical now. And then she's got to make a song for a TV show. And then, because if she can get that EGOT by 25, there will be some conversations. I'm just saying. That's just incredible. I mean, you got to give her credit for that. And again, I don't think that I do think she deserved What Was I Made For, that Oscar. I don't think anyone can argue that one. The other thing which is interesting, and I think Oppenheimer kind of really showed this, and it's weird. It's you've got some of I think people we would consider some of the all-time best at what they do. And it feels like they all finally got the respect of Oppenheimer, right? You look at certain parts, and we're going to do this from the bottom up. So we're going to start with composer and Ludwig Göransson, who did Black Panther, I believe. Yes, he did. And also did one for Oppenheimer. I mean, man, he is one of the best composers we've seen. He did Mandalorian. He's done he did both Black Panthers, right? He did Tenet. He's done a lot of stuff for Nolan. He did Creed. He did Venom. Make a case here. Very great composer, sorry. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little more thinking about where he ranks all time at this point. But, man, he's cooking up some stuff. He's got some of the most iconic themes ever. John Williams, watch out. This man's coming for you, man. John Williams, watch out. This man's coming for you. He's doing something, and it was incredible. It's good to see him win, and he's not even close to done. He'll be a perennial nominee for this category for the next 10 years. Basically, doing the John Williams thing, where he'll just end up in the category anytime he makes something, which is again ridiculous in my mind. I still believe Poor Things had a case for best score, but whatever. Best production design. The one place I took Barbie over Poor Things, and I didn't like doing it. If you go watch my video where I made the predictions, I didn't want to take Barbie over Poor Things. I was hedging heavily on the Barbie momentum, and I was wrong, and I don't know why I did it. I should not have done it. That was dumb of me. I mean, I was right about Barbie, by the way, and that's a conversation for another day. Poor Things won Best Production Design, and it was super deserved. Like, I don't think there's any way to argue that it wasn't deserved. It was great. I mean, honestly, it was unbelievable. And then going on to makeup and hairstyling, which, again, hedged against Poor Things. I don't know why I did, because I didn't want to. And Poor Things end up winning, again, rightfully, if we're being honest. Man, Poor Things winning 3 straight awards, and then winning, obviously, costume design afterwards. Again, another one, by the way, I hedged Barbie, and I shouldn't have, because Poor Things should have... I knew Poor Things should have won. I was really doing a lot of hedging, which was dumb, and I could have saved myself. Like, I'd gotten a few more right if I just went with my gut on a lot of these. But anyways, Oppenheimer won Best Film Editing. Again, unsurprising. And then Best Cinematography, and this was the surprise for me of the night. Not because of who won, but because Hoyt van Hoytma, who has been an amazing cinematographer in my opinion, and one of the best cinematographers in Hollywood for a long time, has only been nominated twice, and this is his first win. It feels crazy to me that, like, because, like, I was thinking, did, like, Ad Astra not get a cinematography nod? Did, Interstellar not get a cinematography nod? Did The Fighter not get a cinematography nod? Like, that's crazy to me that he's never gotten a cinematography nod. It's ridiculous. I'm so glad he won. Because the fact that we're saying he's a first-time Oscar winner is so crazy to me. You know? I don't know. That's just crazy. That's so absurd. Anatomy of a Fall won Best Original Screenplay. I have nothing to say about that. Adapted Screenplay was American Fiction. Again, nothing to say about that one. Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor. I mean, I wanted Mark Ruffalo to win it. I thought Mark Ruffalo was better than Robert Downey Jr. I loved Robert Downey Jr.'s speech. I knew he was going to win. It was great. Divine Joy Randolph won for The Holdovers. The Holdovers big, only award of the night. It was the biggest award of the night for them. Cillian Murphy, again, first time Oscar winner, which is crazy to say because it feels like he definitely has deserved like 7 Oscars before this at least. And the fact that he's once again, him and Nolan both winning their first Oscars is just so perfect because now you can finally say Oscar winner Christopher Nolan, right? Or Academy Award winning director Christopher Nolan and Academy Award winning actor Cillian Murphy. Like that's crazy that they both won their first Oscars. Again, super well deserved. And as much as I had some minor hatred for Oppenheimer, I definitely think it was deserved. And then Oppenheimer won Best Picture. I was really hoping Poor Things. I was like, the way the night was going, I was like, man, Poor Things is gonna steal Best Picture. No, it didn't. It didn't. I was wrong about that one. Wait, where's Best Actress? Did I skip Best Actress? Or is Best Actress not showing up here? Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I do need to talk about Best Actress and then Best Costumes afterwards. We're going to circle back to Best Costumes. So, Emma Stone won Best Actress. Man, gotta tell you, when you think about Emma Stone, she went from Easy A to 2-time Academy Award winning actress. That's awesome. I'm so happy. Like, that is just... how do you... think about that. You start in a movie like Easy A, which as much as I love it as a comedy, you don't see anyone in that and you're like, all-time great actor. Then she has an amazing Spider-Man, and you're like, all-time great actor? No. She's just gonna be one of those people, just hangs around. I say that making a joke of how she died in Amazing Spider-Man 2, because or Amazing Spider-Man, sorry, when she dies because she gets her neck in the web. Anyways, you're just like you're like Emma Stone, whatever. She's a 2-time Academy Award winning actress. That's crazy. That's great. It's crazy but great. And then and the last thing I want to do is or one of the last things. There's one more picture which I have to just. Let's talk about Nolan again because I wanted to show this. Like, this picture is just amazing. You got Spielberg and you got Nolan hugging each other. Like, you've got two legends hugging each other. This is just such a poetic moment. It's great. And then we gotta look at a less poetic moment and just a more hilarious moment. And honestly, I think one of the best bits the Oscars have done ever, like in their entire history. And that would be this one right here. If it's gonna load, it is not gonna load. Okay. We're gonna try to troubleshoot this on the fly. Okay, this should fix the problem. No, it did not fix the problem. God damn. Okay, we'll try one more thing. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to try to do something else. Okay, let's go here. Oh. Let's see if this. I really wanted to put this picture up before I start talking about this thing, but I can't do that because it doesn't look like the picture is gonna come up. So then let's talk about the dude who was naked on stage giving an award. And that is, of course, John Cena, because that's all apparently he can do now. I mean, I don't like him as an actor, but man, this moment is one of the best bits the Oscars has ever done. It is just hilarious. It is perfect. It is everything you want from the Oscars. It is cinema. It is true cinema. Okay, there we go. Now we got it. There we go. That worked. Like, look, this moment is just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. The way they just execute this, like, that is probably, again, that is the highlight of the night. Also, weirdly enough, the best moment of Jimmy Kimmel's night, too, because he had a rough night, because he sucks at being funny. But yeah, no, this was great. I loved it. This was for costume, because he doesn't have a costume on, get it? It's funny. There's a lot of firsts. This is great. Emma Stone won. Again, very well deserved. I thought she should have won it, and she did, and it was great. We do have to talk about the last thing, which is a little bit embarrassing, and it will be corrected this year. Don't worry about that part. But this is the longest streak of, I don't know if it's non-Disney or non-Pixar movies winning Best Animated Feature, but it is. And that is unfortunate. 3 years in a row, I think it's been, is according to the tweet I saw. So, Inside Actor better change this because it's getting a little embarrassing. Best anime. I'm going to double check. Feature. Winners. Let's see. But yeah, so Encanto won in 2022. So it's been 2 years in a row. It's been 2 years in a row. Now, just so you understand the dominance of Disney and Pixar specifically, 2020 was Toy Story 4. Well, actually, you know what? Let's go all the way to... Man, I don't even know where to start because of how dominant... Okay, you know what? We'll start in 2004, okay? The year after I was born. Okay, so this is like, a long time ago, 2004. Finding Nemo. 2005, The Incredibles. 2006 was Wallace and Gromit. 2007 was Happy Feet. 2008 was Ratatouille. 2009 was WALL-E. 2010 was Up. 2010 was Toy Story 3. 2012 was Rango. 2013 was Brave. 2014 was Frozen. 2015 was Big Hero 6. 2016 was Inside Out. 2017 was Zootopia. 2018 was Coco. 2019 was Into the Spider-Verse. 2020 was Toy Story 4. 2021 was Soul. 2022 was Encanto. And then 2023 was Pinocchio. And 2024 was A Boy in the Heron. And 2025 will be Inside Out 2 or Moana 2. Book it in right now. Lock it in. It's going to happen. But like if you think about it, like the last time there was this big of a gap would have been Wallace and Gromit and Happy Feet, right? From 2006 and 2007. And then before that, with 2002, 2003, which is Shrek and Spirited Away. And now we're looking at, 2 straight years of nothing from Disney. So this is Disney's time to get back up. They're gonna bring out Moana 2. They're bringing out their big guns, Moana 2, Inside Out 2. We're gonna take this award back. Us as in Disney, even though I have no affiliation with them. I am taking on the persona of Disney. But with that being said, that was the Oscars. It was great. And I didn't, again, I'll take the 68%. I'll take it. I will take it. If we pick a few things differently, we probably get 90%, right? And the only big, there is no way I could even pretend ever I would have gotten it right is Best Sound not going to Oppenheimer. Because I think I was, that's the only one which I would guarantee I would never would have gotten, and then maybe one of this, and then probably documentary short. Right, those are the only two that I would have said I'm never gonna get it. And then the last thing for Lily Gladstone, because I don't think I mentioned her name once. Lily Gladstone will be back. She's gonna be back. Don't worry. She's gonna get more roles. She was in a lot of people's minds the winner of that award, right, or at least the favorite to win that award. She will be back. That's one thing I will guarantee is that Lily Gladstone will be have her name up there again, maybe even against Emma Stone again, and this time I think she'll win. It was, it's her first time. Emma Stone really just killed it in that role. I can't even lie to you. Go watch Poor Things if you have, and then you tell me if you don't think Lily Gladstone, if you don't think Emma Stone deserved to win. But yeah, with that being said, can't wait for Wicked to be to have the best animated or best song, and can't wait for the best anime feature to go back to Disney Mouse House, which is where it belongs. And maybe more of John Cena being naked. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of the Oscars. It was great, man. I mean, I don't think I've ever been this impressed with the Oscars in years. Oh, and last little thing. So I've been saying this forever. People are finally coming around to me because the Oscars decided to just rub it in their faces. So they did this weird random stunt person hype video, a thank you video type thing. And it was weird. And the reason I say it was weird is because the thing they could have done if they really want to reward stunt performers is the thing I've been saying for years. Which is, I don't know. Give them a damn Oscar. You know what I'm saying? You want to add casting, but you don't want to add stunts. I'm just saying, add stunts. That's how that performance should end with. Next year, we're bringing stunts. Haha, tricked you all. But Christopher Nolan is now an Oscar-winning director. That feels so right. The fact that it took him till 2024 is ridiculous. But he is now an Oscar-winning director, and that is just right. And Emma Stone is a 2-time Oscar-winning actress. From Easy A to 2 times Oscar-winning actress. That is the story of Hollywood. From some nobody sitcom actor or not sitcom, but comedy actor who everyone thought that was going to be her niche. The Easy A time, people thought that was going to be her niche. They thought that was going to be her. And now look at her. 2-time Academy Award-winning actress. With this performance probably easily being the best of her career. I don't think that's a debate. This is easily her best performance of her career. Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.